back to mind shifts. Help me out, give me a like, share the video, write a comment, hit that bell, ding, 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 for notifications. Each week I've been working really hard to evolve myself and my consciousness, my awareness, change and become a better person. And over the years, I've learned a thing or two from going from someone who was a degenerate, for lack of a better term, and irresponsible and lived life for certain experiences and evolving over the years, be graduating from 4-year college and getting a bachelor's degree, getting a big girl job, office job, and eventually getting married, having 2 kids, and being now a middle-aged soccer mom. So definitely live my 9 lives. And so, all right, mental toughness. So getting in that space where you know what you want to do, but perhaps you're not doing it. You haven't gotten momentum yet. And one of the fears that I've had in the past is, okay, once I start doing my goals, am I going to have the mental toughness, the resilience to keep going? And for me, this really comes down to establishing a good enough why to keep going, to keep pushing forward. And part of mental toughness for me is how quickly can you get back on the bike? Life's going to happen. We're going to have things come up. Everybody does. I'm not special. I've gone through a lot of hard things in my life. You've gone through a lot of hard things in your life. And I know it sounds so cliche, but when you get knocked down or you're getting back up, and everyone thinks it's easy until they get punched in the face. Those are the two sayings that come to mind. And sometimes I know I get back on and I'm riding a broken bike. And lately, I feel like I've been riding a broken bike for a while. And I would like to think over the last couple of months, I've been really trying to find that additional quiet time to fix the bike. And for me, I don't know about everybody else, but in order to fix my mindset, I do have to find quiet time, find time to journal, find time to sit in silence, meditate, exercise, helps me. And as I ride the broken bike, I'm maintaining, keeping my head above water. I'm treading water, but momentum may be slow. And I've found that that comes down to some belief, some identity, belief or core identity that I'm clinging on to. I'm the kind of person who, or I am X, therefore people that are X behave this way. So, for example, if I'm a punk rocker, as an 16-year-old, used to go around to punk rock shows and stomp on people and get in the mosh pit. Um, and that in if that's part of your identity, you wear the boots, you wear the hair, the piercings, certain tattoos are associated with that identity. And as soon as that identity is dropped, or you become a mom or your identity changes, and I went through a massive identity crisis when I became a mother. I have a whole video on it. I think I have a couple of videos on my identity crisis as a mom. And as I've gone through all of these metamorphoses, I'm now stepping into new identities, trying to blur the boundaries of labels in my own mind and perhaps some labels that society has bestowed upon me. And not in a untruthful way, still standing on truth, of who I am and what I am and what I believe I'm supposed to be doing to make my life meaningful. I think we all are trying to find a way to make our lives meaningful and matter and be useful. But going back through and, like I said, fixing the bike. Because if we have a long distance to go, having a bent wheel, we're not going to get us far, right? And one thing I have been thinking about a lot lately, perhaps this is my midlife crisis I'm going through now, is I've been thinking a lot about appearances and being a woman and being feminine. And I actually think of Christina Pashensky or Christina P. Um, and that's because she has this joke that says, she's a manly woman. And of course, I'm not going to recite the joke because I'm going to make it terrible. You can look her up. She's hilarious. She has this running joke with her husband. Remember his name? Um, Tom Segura, of course. And they have this, podcast together and this running joke where as women age, women become more manly. And I feel that that kind of hits the nail on the head in a lot of ways because every woman has to come to grips with being no longer youthful. Our skin, our hair. I mean, women are insane. The lengths that women go through to keep their skin, their looks, their hair, their body is pretty insane when you stop to think about it. And the image that comes to my head are laser facials. If you haven't looked it up, I highly recommend it. Ones where you have to go to a doctor, not like the ones you get on a Groupon at the local nail salon or something. I'm talking about real plastic surgeon required laser facials. Look up the pictures post laser facial. And I'm totally willing to get one. And I'm not judging people that do. But for men, perhaps, that have never really had to think about it, that may be listening, a huge part of a woman's identity is tied to our looks. And it is what it is. Part of our society, our value oftentimes is tied to how good looking we are, or how feminine we are, or how sexy we are, how good we look in clothes, and things like that. And we all age and we all die and we all get saggy jowls and smile lines and crow's feet and gray hair and things that our culture doesn't necessarily view as beautiful. And I have been going into this place where I am trying not to seek external validation, and it's really, really, really hard. It's really hard. If you're being honest with yourself, I think it's hard for everybody, man or woman. Um, and I felt like I was doing really good at this, coming from a woman who's done bikini competitions and gotten up on stage half naked, looking back at the judges, saying, "Does my ass look okay?" And spending $1,000 on hair, makeup, shoes, jewelry, bikini. And as I went through that process, I felt like did a really good job at remaining healthy with a healthy mindset and trying not to compete with the other women. I was really internalizing it and competing with myself. And I've been finding myself trying to get back there. I slipped off the ledge a little bit, and now I am trying to really reinforce that. And I think this comes back to a lot of the themes of my mindset shift videos is that these are lessons that I'm constantly having to relearn or reestablish or really clean out my mental closet and be the observer, watch my thoughts and say, "Oh, I don't like that thought. We need to clean that one up." and go back through and go, why am I putting this on myself? Why am I seeking this? And journaling it out. Again, most of it is just remaining observant and being an observer of my thoughts. And I think for some people, this can become an addiction. It's a really slippery slope. And again, I'll put it in the bucket of dopamine. So when we get validation from another person, there's a dopamine hit. I mean, that's the whole reason why Facebook has a like button, because every time somebody likes or hearts, it's this dopamine hit, getting validation. And to give ourselves credit, we're growing up in an age, I'm still growing up, okay? We're growing up in an age of social media, and it really encourages external validation. Just trying to paint back at myself and do what I like and age how I like and wear things that I like. And as I was thinking about this, I thought one way around these addictions is to stay really busy, to keep myself busy. And it helps. It does. There's this balance, and we can take it to the extreme one way and an extreme another way. And oftentimes it's the middle path that we are seeking. And a lot of wise people before me have said this, taking that middle path. And I know I just went through and said, hey, you got to have your quiet time. You got to go internal. You got to be the observer, observe your thoughts, but stay busy. Don't sit in it too long. Like how long's too long? And I think it's different for everybody. Sometimes I go through phases where I need to sit almost an entire day, or at least have that goal of my day be thinking about a certain topic I'm working on or project I'm working on, and building in more quiet time to reflect and be the observer and clean the closet of the mind. And once I've done that work, it's like pedal to the metal, full steam ahead. Next thing you know, I look up and I have all these crazy thoughts all over again. And I gotta go back through and clean it out and do it all over again. It's like taking out the trash. And what's that sweet spot? What's that maintenance level? Is it 5 minutes a day? Is it 15 minutes a day? Is it to be determined? And I don't know what the magic number is. I think it must be different every day for everybody. But with that said, one way around and one way to get through these addictions that I've used in the past is to stay busy, because it is a season, and one day we'll look up and it'll be easier. One day we'll look up and it'll be easier. It'll be easier to walk that middle road, choose the right thing, choose not to do something. And I think that I know I talked about this last time, was it's easier to add a behavior than it is to take one away. And when you take a behavior away, you have to stay busy. You have to. You have to fill the void with other positive shit, other positive actions. For me, that the gym was one of those. When I quit drinking and quit smoking, oh my God, when I quit smoking, when I quit smoking, that's when I joined the gym. I had to really obsess on, I had to move that constant pinging in my head saying, time for a cigarette, time for a cigarette, time for a cigarette, and put that towards something else. And that's okay. Most people don't wake up one day and just drop a behavior. You don't just wake up and drop it. So finding the positive behaviors that we can do to distract us from thinking about these dopamine hits, I think is one strategy. And it's a strategy I've used time and time again. And it's not forever. It's a season. It's going to last forever. It's just a feeling. And if we are afraid of a feeling, we will suffer more. If we resist a feeling, we will suffer more. And I've noticed that sometimes when I say, okay, this is the person I want to be, these are the outcomes I want. In order to get these outcomes, this is the kind of person I need to be. And then you get up Monday morning and you go to do the thing and you don't want to do the thing. You want to get out of bed. And there is going to be that period of time where you have that resistance and you have to overcome it. You almost have to turn a piece of your brain off and act in despite in spite of those urges. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to anybody and say that there isn't that period of time they have to push through. And there's some willpower involved. And I think that that willpower comes from a little twinge of self-esteem. Even if you have like a little tiny spark of self-love, if you can muster it up to do it for yourself. And that is the goal, is to eventually get to the place where you can do it for yourself. However, I understand that there have been times where I've gotten up and I've done the thing for somebody else, which is fine, but at some point you have to clean out that closet because it's not going to last forever. You're going to do it for this other person. You're going to end up resenting that other person in some way or form because you're sacrificing so much in their name. In your own head, they don't even know you're doing it, so it's not fair to take it out on them either. But it is a part of the process. At least it has been for me, and I can't get mad at myself for it. I was just trying to do the right thing at the right time, and was it for the wrong reasons? Yeah, probably in the beginning, maybe. Maybe the first time I went to the gym or a couple of times I've gone to the gym, it's for vanity, to look a certain way because I was insecure because I wanted validation from other people and this and that. Yeah, yeah, I think everybody's done that. Is that bad? No. Is it helpful forever? No. Eventually, we would like to get to a place where we're going to the gym because we love ourselves. We're getting up and we're working on our goals because it's for me, not for anybody else, because I'm doing what I like to do, not because I'm doing what I think you want me to do. So again, finding these middle roads, and again, this comes back to the whole selfishness argument. What is love? Love selfish or is love selfless? It's somewhere in the middle because we can't love another person until we love ourselves. And we can't just give ourselves away to other people endlessly and have nothing left to give. And of course, we have to love God. You know, I assume that everyone's got their own spirituality and their own understanding of creator and God, and that should be at the center because otherwise when I get fall out of focusing on there is a higher power, there's a power greater than myself, my ego takes a front seat, says, I control this, sits in the captain's chair and wants to drive everything. So I do have to step out in faith and understand that God is in charge of this universe. He sets the laws and the rules and the gravity and consequences. It sets this beautiful thing in motion. And I do have to step out in faith. But aside from that, He has given us all free will. We have the right to choose our actions today. And our feelings can come up as roadblocks or they can come up as motivators. And redirecting that energy to a creative path has been my sole focus and has become more of my focus in the last couple of months. It's always been a focus of mine, but I'm certainly taking it more seriously than I have before. And I think it's more important now than ever before. And maybe I just feel like that because, again, I'm going through a midlife crisis or something. But I believe that our society is going through major transformations with technology, with AI, the way business is being run, with our economy, how people are interacting with one another, our food system, the way we understand health, the way we understand God and the universe. And I think a lot is going to change in the next 5 years. And there are a lot of slippery slopes. There's a lot of traps along the way. And one of the fundamental things that I think about is we have our identity, which drives our beliefs. Our beliefs drives our thoughts. Our thoughts drive our emotions, and our emotions drive our actions. All right. Our actions will be a lot easier to act in alignment with our goals and the outcomes that we want if we step back and we look at what are our beliefs, what's our identity, and that's really, really hard to get to. It's on a deep, deep subconscious level at the core. And every character asset can become a character defect. This is the biggest thing I learned in doing the 12-step programs is that honesty is a good thing, right? If you're honest, that's like a character asset. But honesty can also be a character defect. You have diarrhea of the mouth. Are you honest to a fault? Are you honest in a way to hurt people? What's your intention? And this also goes back to health. And one of the extremes I think about when I think about health is fasting. Fasting's this big trend. Fasting is quote unquote healthy. What is fasting? Fasting is not eating. What is also not eating? Anorexia. Anorexia is also not eating. So is anorexia bad and fasting is good? What's the difference? The difference is how you internalize it. The difference is why you're doing the action. Are you doing the action to hurt yourself or hurt others? You're doing the action because you love yourself. I would say fasting is doing the action in an act of self-love, and then anorexia is an action of self-punishment. And for anybody suffering out there, I want to send you a big virtual hug. I really feel for you because I've been there. I know what that feels like, wanting to punish yourself. And I know it's really hard to get out of that. I understand. It's hard to be depressed and get out of bed. It's hard to have anxiety and get out in public, face your fears. And in these videos, I don't want to sound like I don't respect that because I do. But at the same time, I can't lie to you and say it's not going to take some level of willpower to get to swing those feet off the side of the bed, put them on the floor, put on those shoes, put on those gym clothes, and just go. Even if you don't know what you're going to do there, just go. And yeah, you're going to think everybody thinks I look stupid. I feel awkward. I feel out of place. Those are all feelings that you're going to have. Those are all thoughts that you're going to have. And you're going to have that conversation with yourself that you could die. I mean, people commit suicide every day. And this is a matter of life or death. And going into that gym, you're going to have that conversation with yourself that you don't care. Other people are going to think what they think. And what you think and what feels good for you is what matters. And if even that's too much, going on a walk, again, it sounds cliche, going on a hike. Of course, I default to the gym. It's what I love. And some people can do it at home. I can't. I can't do it at home. I went to Arizona from California during COVID because I couldn't be at home. Couldn't sit at home, couldn't be told that I couldn't go to the gym. I just couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle somebody telling me I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't think it was right. I don't think it's right. I know it's not right. What they did was wrong. And I also think that a lot of people are still traumatized from that period of time. And a lot of people want to forget it didn't happen. But I know I didn't roll over. No, I got my family out and I went to the gym and I went to restaurants and I tried to live my life the best I could. Was I yelled at for not wearing a mask? Yeah. I'm a golden retriever. I get along with everybody. I get along with everybody. I got in more arguments between 2020, 2022, 2023, still going in some people's minds. And it's still going today in some people's minds. Oh, makes me sweat just thinking about it. God. And this, where every character defect can be an asset, every character asset can become a character defect. Some people call this shadow work. And we all have a shadow side. We all have parts of ourselves that where we sin. And that's what the Christians focus on is understanding that we all are sinners and humbling ourselves to come to Jesus every single day and that we can't compare ourselves to his perfection. And although we have this idea of perfection in our mind, there's no way for us humans to ever reach it. But we can look to Jesus as an example, and that's the gift. And how to stick with something is we think of pure willpower, and willpower is a very powerful thing. It can be beautiful, but we're only human and we will fall and we will stumble and there will be suffering, like a death, someone or something you love, a period of your life period comes to an end. Someone leaves you, and we're all going to go through that. And what can we do to avoid the unnecessary suffering? So there's necessary suffering and unnecessary suffering. No one can avoid necessary suffering. We're humans. We have to have suffering. And some philosophies say you have to, without suffering, you don't have joy, you don't have happiness, because you need the contrast in life. You need the sadness in order to have the happy. But what is unnecessary suffering? Unnecessary suffering is suffering because you're suffering. Unnecessary suffering is saying, oh, why me? This is just happening to me. Why is God singling me out? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And I do it. I caught myself a couple weeks ago doing it. And I had to sit and think of it. I had to sit in it, think of it, really observe my thoughts through that process. And part of that process is being honest with yourself. The number one point in shadow work or looking at your character defects, step number one is be honest. And how to avoid unnecessary suffering, one trick that I have learned is to not be afraid of the emotion. If you're not afraid to feel any emotion, you will become so powerful and your life will change so fast, it'll be breakneck speeds. Because think about it. Why haven't you gone to the gym? Because I'm going to feel out of place. I'm going to feel this. I'm going to feel that. Okay, well, is that feeling, are you going to die because you had a feeling? No. Does it feel like you're going to die when you're in the feeling? Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely, it feels like you're going to die. I've had pain so immense. I thought my heart would to come out of my throat and just all of my blood and gonna pump out and spew on the floor. Yeah, it feels like you're gonna die, but you didn't. And the worst thing about being depressed is beating yourself up for being depressed. I think we look at lives and assume that other people are living this perfect life. And I think it's just human nature. And I think it's just human nature in general. But I also think that this is propagated by social media. Everyone posts their highlight reel, the best parts of their lives. And we assume then, at least our subconscious does, assume that our lives must be broken in some way because we haven't taken that trip. We haven't owned a car like that or driven a car like that. We haven't lived whatever experience, smiled that much before, feels that way when we're watching other people's lives. And deep down, we know that it's not, but a part of our subconscious believes that it is real, that other people's lives are perfect, or something with us, or other people's bodies are perfect. That's something that I've gone through as a woman, especially growing up in the 90s, looking at the Kate Mosses, really thin, real thin women in magazines and comparing my body type to that. And I still struggle with this. One reason why I don't go on social media at all is because I don't want to confuse my subconscious and deal with, I already have enough house cleaning to do up in the brain of mine. And so minimizing the amount of upkeep I have to do helps me out quite a bit. And trying to have the mental and emotional maturity to know that everyone around us is going through something all the time, every day. And trying to be one of the ones shining a light and smiling at the store, having the conversation, the checker at the grocery store, saying a stupid mom joke to try to make everybody laugh. Uh, and everyone's facing different challenges. It's just different. Your challenge might be medical, someone else's might be financial, someone else might be divorce, a death in the family, an addiction, list goes on and on. And I also think that it's human nature to compare. And I've noticed this in myself. The first time I really thought about it was again going into a 12-step program. And the first thing my brain was thinking is, well, I'm not as bad as that person, so I can keep doing what I'm doing. That person's an addict. I'm not. Their story is way worse than mine. And there's a saying, room, 12-step room, you hit a bottom, stop digging. You choose your bottom. And that can be a tough one. That can be really, really tough because I certainly could have kept digging, pretty stubborn. And I think right now is a good time for those of us who have been through some shit, have come out the other side and are positive, trying to better ourselves, positivity into the world. One of the biggest things we can do, give ourselves grace, also try to lend grace to others around us. When someone's flipping out in the car next to you, flipping you off, try to smile and wave. It's really hard. It's really hard. Trust me, I'm an Aries. It's really hard. I want to be like, oh, really? But you know what? It's not worth it because you just do not know what people are going, they have, or what's in their pocket, or whatever. And can it be really fun to fly off the handle and indulge in rage? Yes, but it rarely benefits anybody. Um, and of course, it's all ego. I can beat you up or that, all this. Oh no, you don't know who I am. Oh, you don't know me. All that back and forth. And one thing I have again, again, is when I'm setting goals, whether it's the gym or business, work stuff, funny stuff, kid stuff, and I'm going through emotions. I'm finally starting to take action, finally getting momentum. Something is going to happen. The kids are going to get sick, fall out of that rhythm. Starting to build a habit, starting to be like, okay, I'm getting momentum, and results. I've lost a couple pounds, kicking ass, and then car accident. Kids get sick. Aunt Susie died, going to a funeral. Like all these things, something's going to happen. Shoe's going to drop. Life's going to happen. Now what? Pause. You have to handle this thing. Put some of your goals on the back burner for a while, or maybe you're just not mentally capable of working on your goals. I go through this where I have a heavy mental load that I do in managing my business. And some days I don't have long-term foresight, brain power, if that makes sense, because I'm pulled down into doing the mundane. Okay. Not that I'm above the mundane, but it's a different mindset. Trying to think long term versus doing writing the check to pay the mortgage, right? Or something, or going to the DMV, whatever. And I thank God that I have systems. I just thank you, Jesus, for systems. Thank you. Because it has gotten through some shit, having a system, having a checklist. When I'm mentally in a place of trauma, going through a traumatic hit in my life, might sound dramatic, but in the moment, it feels traumatic, even if it's like a bender or something, can really throw you. And sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, sometimes it does. Sometimes your mind goes there. What if this happened, or triggers a past event? Maybe there's all sorts of circumstances. And when these things happen to me, and I lean on my system, I have my checklists. These are the things you need to do on your financial day to make sure all the bills get, all the workflows, all the cash flow reports get done, all the invoices get sent out and paid and checked, balanced, payrolls run, you know, all these things. I have to have a checklist. Thank God I have it, because on the day my brain's not working, I can just do the next right thing. A lot of times that's what I tell myself. Next right thing. Thought comes up, pain comes up, nothing I can do about it, in God's hands. But what can I do? What can I do? God, what can I do? I have it written out for myself already, or I have a system. And a system doesn't have to be, I mean, it's great if it's automated. That's really the ultimate goal. It's automated as much as possible. But it doesn't have to be this high-tech automated thing. It can start out, like I said, with a checklist. In order to do X, in order to achieve X, these are the things that must happen. And putting it in a step-by-step SOP, standard operating procedure, even if it's just for your household bills, using these business practices are so helpful. Also for setting, what am I going to eat? If you have that already laid out and you have a traumatic event in your life, it's very helpful to have those resources and the systems or the decisions made ahead of time. When you're building this system, really making a decision ahead of time on what happened. Okay. And back when I was younger, before I had all these dorky systems and something traumatic would happen, other consequences would come up as a result. It would almost be like that fender bender would happen, and then next thing you know, I didn't get my bills out on time or whatever. And then now I have late charges. Now I have a deficit in my bank account. And now I have, it can just start to snowball. But now that I have some of these systems, not that I've thought of everything, knock on wood. Not that I've thought of everything, but over the years, I've learned what absolutely must happen. And I've set up those systems, resources in place so that when life happens, the machine can keep running. At least the basics of the machine can keep churning. And I think when bad things happen, when unexpected things happen, there's a tendency to want to have somebody else take care of it, which if you have somebody that takes care of it, that's fabulous, great. But there's nobody that's going to come and do my goals for me. You might be able to get your basics covered, but nobody's going to swoop in. Hey, Melissa, I bestow this upon you because there's this part of us that thinks some fairy godmother is going to come down and what we do life upon us, like the perfect man, up with the perfect woman, the perfect partner, perfect business, the perfect job, just going to show up one day and sail off into the sunset or ride our white horse off in the water. And there is no final destination like that. So we have to be our own parents. It can be hard to parent ourselves. I'm difficult to parent, not a great parent, not the best parent. My poor kids, but I'm learning and I'm better at not only being a better mom for them, but being myself. And going into mental toughness. So I think from the outside looking in to these have perfect lives on Instagram, it we can also see this mental toughness. Grit your teeth through it. And I do agree with that in a lot of ways. Do agree with the mental toughness mindset. Do tough society. A lot of us become soft. I'm soft. If you threw me out in the wilderness, I'd want to come back home in a couple of hours. Okay. I am not saying I'm mental toughness expert by any means. But when it comes to our goals, I think that mental toughness last as why. Have a big enough why, we should be able to push through. And it's easier to push through, okay, because you have all the mental toughness on the shoes, get out of bed, go to the gym, but event and you build that habit, right? So you gotta have the mental toughness, get through that part, build up that habit, some semblance. But then life's gonna happen. It's gonna knock you over, you're gonna fall, break a toe, break a nail. And the systems are what are going to help redirect you, get you back on your path, and keep you faster, back on faster. And then the maintenance quiet time is going to help you make sure that you're doing it right, driving you back to your why change. Start out doing Bob, the guy that you had a crush on in high school, or are you doing it? There hopefully is a time where you start out doing it for someone else, and then eventually you start going, I want, I like it. I like having my, and that is wonderful. And I'm not going to lie, I struggle. I go back and forth, go back and forth. I'm at that point right now. And I probably went through a good couple of years where 99%, and I've been back and forth lately. Okay. So just know you're human, man. You're human. You're going to have these crazy thoughts. We all have these crazy thoughts. We're all going through something. You're special and you're not special all at the same time. And walk in the middle path. contradicting myself all over again. I'm special in that I have a unique experience, way of whatever the hell I am, whatever messages, however I teach. I'm special in that way. I have special gifts or talents. Cover on a regular basis, figure out who I want to be when I grow up. But I'm also not special because I'm going through hard shit. Like, I've been through hard shit. Okay. And so have you. So has everybody. So has the next stoplight. Damn mind. Okay. She's been through it too. Okay. So you are special, but you're surrounded by other all over the ground, clumped up and all together, smushed together, whether we like it or not. We're all special snowflakes just smushed together. With that, I'm gonna end there. Oh, one thing I did want to read was Are You Even Trying? As some of you know, I am a Suno dork. I wrote songs when I was younger. I used to play the guitar, band, and all this stuff. I haven't really done any of that in a very long time. But Suno, the AI app, really just reignited the fun in songwriting. And so gone through, wrote a bunch of songs. And one of them is Are You Even Trying? Or Are You Dying? Like walking up the down on an escalator, going nowhere. Are you lying to me, to yourself, to everyone else? And then it says, Little mouse, how did you get here? Did you chew through the drywall and floorboards just to get a crumb? Well, it's easy for you. You're built to do this. You're just doing what you do. It's expected. So are you even trying? And that was because I have had a very casual attitude about a lot of things in my life, at least until I started bodybuilding. Then I did get serious and I wanted to be good at something. Decided to be good at that. And I decided to be good at my job. I decided to be good at a mom. And I recently decided to learn how to dance, to take dance classes and try to be good at that or somewhat good at it, as good as I can be, which isn't very good, but I'm trying. Okay. I'm trying at all these things. I'm trying at YouTube. Okay. And I'm failing miserably, but who cares? I am trying. Are you? I look stupid. I'm sure I look stupid all the time. I look stupid when I'm trying to dance. I look stupid when I'm trying to do social media. I look stupid when I'm at the park having a meltdown because my kids aren't listening to me and cussing or whatever moment I'm in, losing my damn mind as a mom. Yeah, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. If I wasn't trying, I would be dying inside. I would be dying inside. And that's what the song's about. And I was talking to my best friend about this is sometimes people look at us and say, "Oh, well, it's easy for you. You're going to get through this. You're strong." And like nobody worries about us because we have this strong exterior. And yeah, am I a strong person? Yes. But I struggle too. Okay. And I need help too sometimes. That's why I have her. She's my best friend. We lean on each other. Iron sharpens iron. Right. And that little mouse bit in my song is we look at a mouse and we just take it for granted. But if you sit and you think about a mouse and all the work they do to just get that little crumb is pretty incredible. And if we tried to do everything a mouse does in a day, run around and scamper and all these things, we would be wrecked. But again, we take it for granted because they're just doing what's expected. And I feel like a little mouse sometimes. Get me and they go, "Oh, yeah, you're a mom and you own a business and fit, you go to the gym." Yeah, it's expected. Big deal. I'm like, dude, look what I just did. That was sick. Everyone's like, yeah, of course you did. Yeah, who cares? Gives a shit. Like, Oh, I'm pretty proud of myself. So again, the self-validation, not looking for external validation. I know I did it. I know how hard I worked. I know what I know. I know what I can do. And so I'm going to leave that song here. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to like it. Maybe nobody likes it. I don't give a shit. I like it. I love the song. I listen to it all the time. It's on my playlist. And I have a lot of songs like that. I have a lot of songs I'm really proud of, actually. And now I'm going to leave. I got to go do mom stuff. I got to go to the gym. I got shit to do. See you next time. Bye.
Are you even trying? Are you dying? Walking up the down on the escalator, going nowhere. Are you lying to me, to everyone else, lying to yourself? Are you even trying? Ever really try a day of their life? Try inside. Stab me with a knife in the heart and lay me to die before I stop the try. Are you even trying? Or are you dying? Walking up the down on the escalator, going nowhere. Are you lying to me, to everyone else, lying to yourself? Are you even trying? Did you even begin? Or just expecting to win with every move? Not supposed to be easy. Say we end up here for strife. Reality is tough. La-ti-da. Little mouse, how did you get here? Did you chew through the drywall and floorboards just to get a crumb? But it's easy for you. You're built to do this, and just doing what you do, it's expected. Are you even trying? Or are you dying? Like walking up the down